name's Carrie, and this is Leona. And we are here today to host Building Character. Rick is in at DragonCon in Atlanta, so you get us today.
Rick is in a far distant land.
Yeah. Having the time of his life, I'm sure. I have a lot of friends who are at DragonCon, so.
Oh, super fun.
Yeah. I would like to get there one day, but I am very small and have no money, so you can imagine the kind of stress that I am under. In any case, we are not doing like a character sheet today. We are going to be building encounters out of these blind boxes. We've got like 8 of these, so we're gonna crack these bad boys open and build an encounter out of them. I like blind boxes a lot, but I like them more when I don't have to pay for them myself. Well, and I can just get the dopamine hit of opening them up.
Unboxing, yeah. It's also nice when we have there's 10 over on the screen that you can't see.
Yeah,
off
there's
screen.
just like a pile over
It's great
here.
when you can just keep unboxing.
Yeah,
them,
No, I collect little Gachapon figures and,
nice.
and whatnot, and those typically come in blind boxes, but I'm usually spending $10 or $15 for one of those, and with these they're just here, and these are cool. So this is the WizKids Icons of the Realms Elemental Evil set. So there are 44 different figures that complete this set. WizKids pre-painted minis. They're a good time. They're always good. So this is basically the World of the Forgotten Realms. These are all from the Elemental Evil storyline from Forgotten Realms.
Nice.
So if you are playing through that storyline and you're looking to
maybe
add a random encounter or have minis that go with the existing storyline, this is a good way to do it. And typically what happens with these WizKids boxes, this is badass, is that you have one big figure this, and then 3 smaller minis.
Itty bitties.
But they're all to the same scale and whatnot,
Oh,
so. This has its own, this is intense.
Oh, is this gonna sit on it? Yeah, because I was like, let's put something on the spinner. Also, I'll be monitoring the chat, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm doing that. Not because I don't want to talk to you, Carrie. All right, well, I just opened up this little guy. A Nagaman? Does that seem right? He's so tiny.
Ooh.
Oh, gosh.
A small little imp.
Yeah.
Looks like a fire something or other. Meanwhile, this is a literal angel from heaven.
An actual
Something like that.
Does it
Come
fit,
down
Johnny?
to smite judgment. Oh no.
It's because I'm not behind the camera. I can't fix it.
Too tall for the spinner.
You'll see it in a second.
Yeah,
it's a really cool.
One moment, please.
It's a really cool angel figurine.
Yeah,
that's worth. You can see it right at the bottom, but it's
The
worth.
plot came undone.
It's definitely
good. We figured it out.
There we go.
There we go. That looks nice. That's a nice mini right there.
It's Icons of the Realms.
Yeah. So that's fun. I don't know, I mean, these are also neat. Oh boy. So that's something you could, this seems like a final boss type.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Save that. Some other ones, this is a more common enemy. This is I believe this is just a gnoll. Yeah, a gnoll fighter.
Okay.
And then we have an invisible moon elf ranger.
Oh, nice.
So he's currently invisible. That's why he's clear. So that's kind of cool. I do like the clear minis a lot. I think it's a cool effect, particularly if you're a stealthy guy, like an elf ranger or something like that. And when you're playing, oh my God, he's tied in. When you're playing with a stealth character that can make themselves invisible or whatever,
right.
And you're using minis, sometimes it's hard to sort of keep track of where they are, because if they're invisible, chances are their mini is no longer.
Should I take
Yeah,
these
go
off?
ahead. Yeah.
Just to move on.
Ooh. That looks like an elemental.
Yeah. I think it was sorry, Johnny. It just says water.
Water elemental.
I just wasn't sure what the color. The color of it.
Looks like sort of like a sea foamy sort of deal.
Oh gosh, another. It looks
Another large friend.
Yeah. So for those of us who just joined, we're opening up Icons of the Realms blind boxes by WizKids, and this is the last one that came. Hopefully, that's still able to be in the shop. But yeah. So that was the last like big guy that we opened up. I think that guy's really cool.
Yeah.
That's all to say. Each of these figurines, it looks, at least the ones that we've just opened, they have this like stand that comes with it. Super nice.
This is also dope. So this
also,
is
Greg says hello and Vaughn says hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. I'm having some problems with the stand here. I think I got him. I just don't want him to fall over. So this is a Hiroko Sphinx.
Oh, nice.
Like a big griffin, basically.
Again, kind of like final boss, or like one. If you did like a one shot, that would be like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I also have an Earth Cult Warrior.
Ooh.
Let me try it. There as well.
We have a dwarf, a shield dwarf fighter. However, I think unfortunately we may have had somewhat of a misprint there, as it looks like his right arm is missing. But that's fine. That happens sometimes. Ooh, baby. Here, you can have the small ones.
So are we going to unbox them all first and then create the cover?
Yeah, so the plan is we are going to create an encounter using stuff out of what we are pulling from these boxes today. That's a dragon.
Everyone in the chat be thinking about that
yes.
while we're all unboxing up in here. Yeah, we have some of our minis over on the beautiful terrain.
Yes.
It's very nice.
Okay.
Troglodyte, is that right?
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Oh boy. Troglodyte is a term I use for men who won't leave me alone in public.
About what is the cost? Oh, that's sorry. What is the cost per box?
That's a good question that I don't know off the top of my head, because there isn't like there's a SKU, but there's not a price.
I'll look it up
okay.
real quick. Sorry. Sorry, Greg. We'll get that question for you. These are the first ones I've seen that come with like little stands.
Yeah, so like it gives them obviously
nice.
the ability to sort of float and have them not be tied down. I don't even know if I can I feel like this guy is far too big for the stand.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. So it's like
here, maybe he can go in there.
Yeah, but I mean, you can see the stand here. It's clear, and it certainly gives a sense of depth. This dragon is incredible. So this is a brass dragon, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I believe like the metallic dragons are generally good dragons, and like the colored dragons are naughty, rowdy boys. They're typically evil, I think, is like.
Okay.
So.
I think you're right.
And then we also have. Here, I'll take that down. It's a fire snake. So maybe that's something one of our good guys summoned. That's a burb.
Yeah, it's a bird, but I was trying to read the name of it, and I'm not going to try and pronounce it. Because this bird has antlers, so as I try and finagle this on,
just immediately breaks it.
Yeah, Bruce was saying, the stand is all we see. Sorry about that. Normally I would be manning the camera, but
We're working on it, thank you.
We're short-staffed, and it's Rick's fault.
Rick is away. Speaking of dragons, okay, so this is the one. It's a bird, but it has these antlers on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nate says chromatic dragons are evil,
Yes.
gem dragons are generally neutral, and metallic are good.
Okay.
You are correct.
So, okay. So this is a good dragon because he's
Yeah.
a brass dragon.
Oh, look, he can fly in the background.
Ah.
So yeah, you were correct. That is awesome.
Yeah, I've been, the latest character that I rolled up for my newer campaign for D&D is a Dragonborn. And so she has red draconic lineage. So
Okay.
like she looks like a red dragon.
Right.
We got another one of these guys, so we'll just create the cavalry over here.
Oh, another serpent.
Yeah. Fire snake.
Fire snakes are.
So yeah, but she's not evil at all. She is chaotic good.
Oh, okay.
I've never played a chaotic good character.
Another earth.
I stumbled into. I like accidentally created a cult, maybe.
Oh.
Whoops.
With your character.
So this is a fire cult warrior.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna relocate some of these fellows. Who is this?
Oh, okay. Greg is letting me know that this bird is called a pereton. It's a stag/bird hybrid.
Interesting.
And the text on these things is really tiny, so
It's-
that's why
it's really small
That's why I
and
was
hard
like,
to
I
read.
don't know. So yes, thank you for typing that.
Yes.
I really like this dragon. Yeah, this dragon's really good. Oh yeah, I need to get the price on these.
So I really like this fire cult guy, and maybe he has these little fire snaky dudes as familiars, or servants or something, and you know, clearly a little fire imp of something, building on something here, because these are all like elemental based and whatnot. So maybe we frame fire guy here as our bad guy.
Okay. It's interesting that they have like a metallic
Yeah.
dragon because normally, since they're good.
Well, yeah, but of course these the set is not just villains, but
That's
it's also
true because the last
heroes.
one we were villains, so that makes sense. Yep. He could be the hero.
Or be on the side of the heroes.
The hero side.
Yeah.
The hero is like not part of the party.
Ooh. It's a salamander. That's a large a large fire snake. I want to put all these fire guys sort of like
Nice.
off to the side, and we've also got a spider and an owl bear.
Oh, we just painted those.
Those are nasty.
I wonder if he's more owl or more bear.
That's pretty 50-50 owl
Actually,
to
yeah.
bear.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Our other ones were definitely more one-sided.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to tangle with that dude. So the boxes are about $15 or $16.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
But I mean, like you're getting 3 like I guess regular size minis, and then like one big one in every box.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're just trying to like increase the amount of minis you have to choose from, it's a worthwhile investment.
Mm-hmm.
And plenty of game stores probably have sales on these from time to time. And
That's a white. This is a water cult warrior.
Ooh, so all right.
Oh,
so
gosh,
we've got a water elemental and a water cult warrior. I'm gonna keep those guys together. I'll keep those back here.
And one more.
And this is just an ogre. Just a large fella.
A large man. Hello, sir. Oh, tiny.
A small.
Forest gnome.
Okay.
Forest Gnome Ranger.
Okay.
Yeah, the Greg says the unboxing seems very fire-based,
Yeah.
considering brass dragons also breathe fire.
Okay. That does make sense. But of course, I immediately pull an air elemental.
We say that in
Yeah.
there.
So, I just like, I feel like pre-painted minis sometimes it's like you open a box of them and you're just like,
Ooh.
oof. But these are all really nice. Like,
Yeah.
These are all super nice so far. So we've got an Air Genasi Rogue.
Speaking of fire, here's a fire bat.
All right. A lot of fire.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
So yeah, Air Genasi would be cool. And then we have a Duergar fighter, so like a dwarf of some sort. So put the fire bat with the fire guys. I'm trying to separate these out by like their element and whatnot. And we got some clear like neutral parties in here.
Yes. Definitely.
We've seen an earth, water, and air elemental, right?
Yeah, so this is the earth elemental.
Fire elemental.
No fire elemental, no,
No.
but a lot of fire themed creatures
Yep.
and whatnot.
No, I'm cheering it on. It's like, come on, fire elemental.
Oh yeah.
Really quick show up.
Unfortunately, no fire elemental in our boxes as we come to our last box, which doesn't want to let me have the two-headed giant that's in here.
This is a Dread Warrior.
Ooh.
Man, that dragon in the background, looking good.
I might have to take that home. Like, Rick's not here. Who's going to stop me?
It's true. A Gold Dwarf Guard.
Okay. That's super cool. So this is just an Etin. Just a large fella with two heads. Making Johnny adjust the camera again.
Yep. You can try and read that.
Cool. It's a rogue. A small rogue. I would qualify this as like a halfling because I'm not going to try and pronounce
The Sfer, it's
The-
like a German word almost.
some Swedish something.
Also, Johnny, do you know how much the Elon Musk
Do
rotator?
not know.
Elon Musk rotator.
Yeah, that's what we call it.
Oh, okay.
Because it had lights and then we like taped over it. But yeah, someone was asking. You know, I'm not exactly sure, but I don't think it was over $20.
No.
So
No.
I know if you do a quick search on Google or something, you can find small product rotators.
yeah, the rotator.
Yeah.
Just type in
I don't
product
see it be more than
rotator.
$20, I don't think. But don't quote me.
So that's all of our boxes.
That's all of our boxes. So now we have to create some encounters.
Okay. So should we pick a
I kind of want
element?
to frame it on. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
here's the thing. We have so many fire dudes
Yeah.
that I
It'll be
feel like
easy.
we kind of have to play into the fire dudes a bit. And like, I don't want to judge too harshly by appearances, but this guy doesn't look like a good character. He doesn't look like he would be a hero.
Yeah.
He looks like he would probably be a villain.
Yes.
So, and maybe for me, maybe I just, maybe I watched a little too much Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But, maybe this dude is like some leader of some fire clan that's
Okay.
gotten like a little too out of control. So you've got him. And
Yeah, generally no one that dresses in black leather wielding like a fire sword is going to be like, hey guys, hey, can I come along?
let's be friends.
Yeah.
No, he's like, I'm gonna take all this power for myself. And he's got Fire Bat. Let's spread these out a little bit.
Fire
He
serpent.
has a big old salamander.
Can we make him closer?
Whoa. There we go. So yeah, you got your sort of
Actually, if we put him down.
big bad Fire Lord pal, and he came with a few friends, right? Bring that up a bit. There you go. So yeah, you got that, which means now we have to sort of counterbalance him a little bit,
Okay.
right? So we've got an Air Genasi.
Okay.
Genasi is a playable race in 5e, and I think before 5e. I have not ever played with a Genasi character.
Okay.
But he doesn't have an elemental, but he's clearly drawing from fire specifically. So
Nate says, I'd set up an evil NPC party. The Dorigar, Dread Knight, and the Knoll, they're on their way to join up with the Fire Lord dude and all of his fire Pokemon.
he does have a full party
It
of
really
fire
does look
Pokemon.
like- especially this little guy. The
yeah.
bat to me was like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, when you're right, you're right. So we've got air, water, and then earth. We need like an earth pal. He looks earthy. So this would be interesting.
Okay.
Trying to sort of like keep the elements in balance and whatnot. Obviously, that's always the key when talking about elementals and whatnot. It's like you have your 4 elements. You got fire, water, earth, and wind, or earth and air, or whatever. And if they get thrown out of balance, then the world is doomed. Like that's typically how it works. But I like the idea of you have these sort of other, sort of like elemental themed guys as sort of like your heroes here. And yeah, you know what? They came with Pokemon. That's what those are. That's what we're just rolling with. Someone had to mention it. Now it's in my head. Does the water have does this dude have a face?
No.
Does he have a front?
Oh, well, yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think he does. I was going to say that that's the front.
This is a water elemental. So.
Right. So yeah, gnolls are typically not friends.
Mm-hmm. Here, if you want, we can put him here.
Oh no, this is an Earth Cult warrior. Sorry, dwarf. You're being replaced. Yeah, just a bunch. I mean, you've got... Where'd my whites go? This is a white. You have a lot of things you could do with this. I mean, I feel like you could probably... This guy's got a mean lean on.
So it's kind of interesting because I guess with this guy right here, would he be like the super bad? Like
I would probably frame
ultimate?
him as like the big bad.
Okay.
Yeah, like this is the guy who you're going to end up serving. Like he's a higher level. I mean, he's a fire cult warrior leader. I mean, he's fire cult warrior according to the description. But obviously, you don't have to go by the descriptions here. You know, you could easily make this guy into like a really high level encounter.
Okay.
Someone who can enchant his weapons with fire, cast a lot of fire spells, but he wears heavy armor and he's clearly wielding a pole arm of some sort.
Right.
So, like, he'll wail on you for a lot of, like, physical damage, but if you're trying to hit him from afar, he'll just cast Fireball and just knock your whole party out. And, he's got all these sort of other fiery creatures. This would be interesting to sort of, like, dual class an NPC with, like, maybe a fighter and like a warlock. Maybe like you think he's the bad guy, but like he's in service to some sort of like higher being that's allowing him to make these packs with all of his little
Oh, okay.
Pokemon or whatever we're calling them today. The sort of like other various fire elemental focused creatures
Yeah.
or whatever that serve him, but they only serve him because he made a pact with an elder one of
A
some
bigger,
sort.
yeah.
Is it too much out of line to say that he would be serving the dragon?
Well, I thought we kind of
Yeah.
had stated that the dragon would be good.
Yeah, the dragon would be good. You know, I would say maybe, you know, because it's a brass dragon and brass dragons.
How would you incorporate the brass dragon into a...
I would say maybe the brass dragon understands that the elements are sort of out of whack right now and sends these guys after this guy to make sure that
Okay.
he stays in line and whatnot. So
Like you would kind of
certainly, like-
introduce him as like sort of the guiding voice.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get him in the... there we
Yeah.
go. I covered up the old big bad,
That's
but that's
fine.
okay.
I mean, what does the chat think about it?
The brass dragon and the angel are trying to stop them,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I put these guys off to the side because
The winged ones.
yeah, the wingy boys. Yeah, the angel who is just a solar angel.
Now, could the angel ever be evil? Or am I just...
I don't know how it would play in as far as D&D lore is concerned.
Right.
The part of my brain that's, you know, perpetually stuck on like the Shin Megami Tensei series is just like, yeah, no, they're evil. But like, I know that that's not usually the case. I want to say angels typically are going to go lawful,
Okay.
regardless of what, you know, good or evil alignment they're going to fall into. Because while, you know, you've got your sort of good versus evil battles and whatnot, you know, Shin Megami Tensei as a franchise has always been like law versus chaos,
Right.
which I really enjoy. It's a different sort of battle. So, you know, maybe the angel would be invested not because he's doing evil things, but because he's doing chaotic things.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool. I have, okay, Harvey from YouTube, sorry, I missed you, said, just got here, where are these minis from?
Okay, yeah, if you're just joining us, so I'll get a box that isn't beat to hell. I just have a pile of trash next to me. So these are from the WizKids Icons of the Realms Elemental Evil set. There are 44 different figures in the set. They're blind boxes. You get one big figure and then 3 smaller figures.
Yep.
In each box, you can get heroes, you can get monsters, you can get villains. Sometimes in some of these blind boxes, you end up getting like sort of like terrain pieces and whatnot, which is
Okay.
kind of fun. I think the last time we did an Encounters edition, we were just like pulling stuff for like a tavern, basically.
Yeah, that was funny.
But I mean, it's interesting. So yeah.
Also, Sarah asks, excuse me, what is y'all's favorite brand of minis?
I think most of the stuff that like I have ended up with has been WizKids stuff, but
Right now we're opening up WizKids.
yeah, right now we're opening up
WizKids
WizKids.
pre-painted
Is awesome.
are
yeah.
really nice.
I like to paint my own stuff. So I tend to go with like the WizKids pre-primed
Okay.
stuff. But I also like Reaper. I've had Reaper minis. I enjoyed them a lot. They have a little more heft to them because
Yeah.
they're typically like pewter or something like that.
I've
and
seen
then-
a lot of the metal ones.
Yeah.
Those are nice too.
Yeah. So, and I also really like, I had my first experience with Hero Forge.
Oh yeah.
So that was really interesting. And I had a good experience. I know people have had sort of like varying degrees of success with Hero Forge over the years. I used their premium plastic and I liked it a lot. Primed it up, painted it, it came out awesome.
Nice.
So I'm certainly willing to do Hero Forge printing again. I mean, obviously the difference between Hero Forge and WizKids and Reaper and whatnot is like the price and whatnot. Even like the pre-primed stuff, you know, you're only paying really just a few bucks.
Right.
For my specific mini from Hero Forge, I paid like $35 after shipping for one mini, but it's like that's my guy, that's my character. I designed him.
You're gonna have him for a while.
I'm gonna have him forever. I'm gonna keep playing him forever. So I wasn't too worried about the price tag on that one. So
Yeah, I'm not a huge like mini. When I've seen minis in board games, that's really where I encounter them. So
Right.
like I like the ones from Simon. I
Okay,
think those
yeah.
are always pretty nice sculpts, and because I don't paint them, it's better when they're bigger. So I'm like, oh, they're like decent size. They're like, so
Yeah.
those are better.
Nice.
For me. So
excellent. So I hope that answered your question.
No,
Oh,
I have
and-
a favorite too. Like for me, it was the ones from Stuffed Fables.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the
I
stuff,
don't have any
the
experience with
stuff
them.
fables. It was Plaid Hat Games, so
Okay.
I don't actually know. I'm pretty sure they just did the sculpts themselves in house and stuff like that. But they were really cute. They were kind of chibi oriented,
Sure.
so they were really fun. Greg says depending on the genre, the hero clicks.
Sure.
Which is also
that's also WizKids. Yeah.
those like repainted are really nice.
Yeah.
We actually did an episode where Dave repainted. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna remember her name, but it was someone. It was someone, and it was really good. He added a lot of like metallics to
Awesome.
the costume that kind of brought it out. So
Excellent.
yeah.
So back to this.
Yeah,
So we
sorry.
have sort of like
Encounters.
what I would consider like our final encounter party is like not only do you have like your big bad, but he came with friends, right? So you would be facing off against like this guy, but you know, how do we use these other characters in order to create this storyline? So we have our heroes, we have our
Yeah, we had kind of
Yeah,
or
I'm
you had
gonna-
kind of decided on the.
So we have an air person, an earth person,
Do you want to?
and a water person. Oh, Johnny, why are you always doing this? Why are you... So, water, air, and then earth. And then we have their elemental pals over here that they can presumably summon at will and control to a degree. But it's like, all right, well, how did they, you know, embark on this journey? So
chat.
yeah, chat. My thought would be, you know, our solar angel here maybe was the sort of messenger,
Okay.
just to be like, sup fam, we got a problem with the balance of the elements here, right? And maybe working with the dragon, if not working for the dragon. I don't think angels typically serve dragons. But maybe the dragon is just sort of like aware of the situation and is unable to do anything themselves about it. Maybe they're sealed away somewhere. Maybe this guy sealed them away. Maybe the encounter with the dragon and a reward from this ancient creature would be the sort of prize for completing the campaign.
That's cool.
But in the meantime, it's like, all right, well, what do we do with all these other nasty things, you know?
This guy.
Yeah. I feel like
And this guy.
there's always room for an owl bear in your
There
campaign.
is always room for an owl. And yes, by the way, David, these are from the elemental icons of the realm.
Icons of the realm, elemental evils.
Elemental evil.
Minis, blind boxes.
boxes.
Yeah. But I mean, we've also got some. I kind of want to, you know, maybe guys who are not necessarily, you know, working for this guy, but just sort of like evil, nasty things that you would find in the woods somewhere.
Because I'm kind of imagining this character would have to be somewhere. Would he be? Because I'm kind of thinking like in the ground, like volcano type stuff, or no?
Ooh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
So like is that kind of plausible? Like,
Yeah.
Okay. So
It's D&D. You can do whatever
you can
want.
kind of do whatever you want, right? So he's kind of in the ground, and to me, you would have to be meeting those characters.
They're just sort of lurking on the surface before you can go underground. Yeah,
Right, like
absolutely.
a spider. It makes sense for like a spider to be there.
Yeah.
And those type of things. Or maybe they're even...
Or even, you know, gnolls are sort of around. That sort of thing. So, Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see if the chat would be doing anything differently here. Because all I know is, like, this is the kind of thing I would be into. Like, the whole elemental struggle, like, I'm very about that. My favorite game on earth is Golden Sun.
Okay.
And that game is just like, there's 4 elements, and you got to make sure that everything's good, or else the world's going to fall apart. That's sort of the whole game.
Sarah was wondering, have you seen any hydras?
Hydras, not in this set that we've pulled, no. So, I mean, we have...
Also, Rick is asking, where's the portal potty? Do you remember that?
I'm not...
Got you.
I'm sorry, that idea got flushed.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Greg says Etten and Ogre would be more earth-based.
That's true, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know that you would...
So you're kind of thinking, like, to potentially you could have, like, these separate...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that you could necessarily use everything that we've pulled in, like, a single storyline. But...
Or you could.
Or you could. You could try. There's nothing stopping you from trying. But I do think, you know, I can't figure out a use for these
so
guys.
that's a
Like, we have
question.
2 of them.
How creative people out there. How should we use these? Or what
Yeah.
kind of, when would you have a
Hiroko Sphinx.
Hiroko Sphinx in your storyline?
Yeah. They almost seem like sort of like harbingers of doom almost. Like they look kind of goth, you know? So I don't really know how you would do that, but you know, so we've got our elemental power struggle here, but you know, maybe we have a lower level campaign without any of the elementals, without the dragon, and
Bye-bye, dragon.
without the fire dudes, and without
So
without
long,
any of
Mr.
these
Fire.
without any of these crazy
Winged beasts.
elementals, without any of it. And you're just like a level 3 party. You got a dwarf. He's got an axe.
A warrior?
Sure. Fighter of some sort. And like a halfling.
Oh yeah, range. I mean, a
A
rogue.
gnome ranger. And I feel like, you know, maybe for them, coming across a white...
Oh, by the way, they said trained flying mounts.
That would be interesting. That'd be super cool. Or having them pull some sort of like flaming chariot or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not building that set piece. No. I'm lazy.
I like that idea, though.
That'd be cool.
You encounter them, and then they can become your
Yeah.
mount.
That'd be interesting. So like, you know, a lower level sort of encounter, you come across like a white, just sort of like general nasty things. Just traveling through the woods. You're going to your next destination. Maybe you decided to travel through the night instead of finding a good place to camp. Maybe you thought that this was a good place to camp, and surprise, you wake up in the middle of the night and there's a giant spider.
Maybe someone's rolled a horrible watch. The worst.
Maybe,
Oh, one.
maybe you had the gnome on watch and she crit failed. Maybe that's.
Then all of a sudden,
Yep.
these guys pop out.
Yep.
And you're like, ah!
Yeah. Or worse,
Bum, ba-dum.
you're being attacked by an invisible assailant.
Bum, bum, bum.
You can't see him.
But,
How-
Carrie,
Yes.
when you attack, does invisibility wear off, or is there rules for that?
I think in 5e, when you make an attack, you are no longer invisible. In most cases. Like if you've cast invisibility on yourself and then you like make an attack or an action, you're no longer invisible at that point. But as always, chat, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
That would be good.
Yeah. So, no, lots of interesting minis.
I feel like also the invisible guy would have a good backstory.
Invisible guy would have a good backstory. I mean, it's an invisible mini. What if he's just stuck?
Okay.
What if he's perpetually invisible and maybe he's sort of like a traveling good guy. Maybe there's a gnoll and a spider attacking these happy campers.
These poor campers who rolled very
these campers who just couldn't roll a good watch to save their lives, and this guy is just sort of like a traveling, this nomadic specter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's he's on the ground now. And a moon elf ranger. He was cursed.
There you go.
To just never be seen ever again, but he can still interact with the world around him.
Right. He could travel
And
with
maybe
your party for a little bit.
Yeah, and the party maybe sort of senses that there's another presence with them and like understands that it's benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they hear voices every so often. But maybe these three are just really clumsy and bad at their jobs. And this guy has to keep saving them every night from being attacked by nasty beasts.
That would be great. That would be good. And then, like, I think I am impressed that this is an invisible mini guy.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting. I think you had said before we came on that it's kind of nice to have a
a clear
that
mini.
actually is clear, so that when you're playing,
Yeah, because like
you can still move him around.
my bard has like a magic loot. It's the DOS loot, if you're familiar with that in 5e. And so he can cast invisibility on himself with the loot once a day.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I cast invisibility on myself, I just have to take my mini off the board and sort of like put a little marker as far as like, here's where you saw him last.
Right.
But that doesn't. It's nicer to have like a visual representation like that if you're playing with characters that can become invisible. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier. You're like, oh, there you are, but don't worry, mind's eye.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's nice about the miniatures is that like mind's eye is really great to do.
Right.
But it just adds that little extra.
It does.
Whoop, there he went. How many heroes did we have? Potential heroes.
Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Sean says, if the ghost is a thief and made a mechanical weapon, would you call it a specter gadget?
I'm seeing Sean tomorrow, and he's cruising for a bruising if this keeps up, buddy.
About what size are the minis? Yes, no, that was really great, John.
About what size are the
About
minis?
what size are the minis? I have a large collection of 25 millimeter.
Oh, do we have like an actual, like a measuring
You're
tape?
asking the wrong- I'm sorry, Sam.
Yeah.
I don't know the size, the scale of.
No, and it doesn't really. It doesn't really
always-
say.
I always
on
thought the scale
box.
on these was a bit larger than 25 millimeter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're working with like a really wide degree of sizes here. I mean, I would consider like this character to be sort of like a standard medium humanoid, right?
Okay.
That's sort of where I'm at. Any of these would be
I'm sorry,
what I would consider in my experience to be, a standard medium humanoid. So if that's your sort of like medium-sized person, then you've obviously got a gnome. It's going to be much smaller than that. Elementals can be pretty big.
Yeah.
You've got an owlbear. Owlbears are real big. And then you've got an ogre.
So maybe
who's
it is
even
25 because this human guy is pretty
yeah.
tiny. Water warrior.
So, I mean, if that's sort of demonstrates the different sizes that we're working with here. And then, I mean, you've got even bigger than that with like the dragon.
The dragon.
So, I'm keeping this. I'm just,
Yeah, that's
Rick,
fine.
I know you're watching. I'm keeping this. So, it's just, you know, it's, the thing is, at the very least, when you're buying stuff generally from one company, like if you're like, man, I really like WizKids, and if you're buying just WizKids blind boxes to just have a minis collection, at the very least, everything's going to be in scale with each other. So,
Yeah. Sorry, Sarah.
yeah, sorry if that didn't make anything better. So,
I'm not actually a mini person, so
yeah.
that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know the scale.
I only
off
started
the top of
playing
my head.
with minis fairly recently.
Do you like?
I do, yeah. And then my DM for our sort of longer running campaign started basically making like temporary like paper minis.
Okay. Yep.
Rather than having just like little dice to be like, that's a monster, so that we sort of know where we are in relation to it. She actually like printed like little, you know, this tall sort of pieces of paper to have a
nice.
better visual representation of like what the monster looks like and whatnot. So when we were fighting the sea hags, there were 3 nasty sea hags on the board.
no.
So
I also think what's interesting about these blind boxes, and when you've opened them before, the selection's pretty good for
Yeah.
these blind boxes. So we only really had repeats of like 2 or 3.
Yeah, so we had a
miniatures. We had like a
repeat-
double of this like fire snake guy.
yeah.
And
And
that's
we
all
had
to
a-
say. Like I think sometimes, at least for me, when I'm thinking about a blind box, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah.
heaven forbid I get the same one again.
Right. So for reference, we opened 8 blind boxes. There's 4
Like
figures
big
in.
figures, right?
Well, I mean, there's 4
Oh, 4
figures in every
figures in
box.
general.
One is a larger figure, and the other is the other 3 are, you know, regular sized or whatever. So I mean, we only had 3 dupes. We had
Oh yeah, I forgot about
one
the
instance of that.
Sphinx says.
But sometimes it's nice to have duplicates, depending on
It
like
could work really well if you use those guys as
mounts.
mounts.
Yeah.
I'm just all about that.
Like, chances are when you're fighting like a little fire snake, you're probably fighting
2.
more than one. That's why it's nice to have just like a bunch of goblins or a bunch of kobolds or
Yeah.
bugbears or sort of like these recurring enemies that typically don't travel by themselves.
Right.
So, yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
That's super cool.
So yeah, it's super easy to just sort of like build up different encounters just by pulling from blind boxes. And then if you like using minis in your games, it's obviously with these pre-painted blind boxes, it makes it very easy to have a large amount of minis for you to pull from without having to do an extensive amount of work.
All that painting.
Right.
And the other good thing about the blind boxes is that it kind of forces you to think creatively instead of like having a preconceived notion of where you want a story to go. You have to like think on your toes, like, oh, suddenly you come across this. How do you work that into the story?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine just being like, oh, and suddenly there's an owlbear, just because we have this mini and we're going to use this mini. I mean, one owlbear can cause a lot of problems, as I've learned. But
Speaking from experience.
yeah, I've had experiences with owlbears. There was one somewhat recent in my campaign where it was like we were in a castle and there was one room that we didn't go in, and our DM was like, yeah, there was an owlbear in that room, and I was just like,
No.
super glad we didn't go in there because I didn't want to fight an owlbear. Thanks.
Wreaked havoc. on
Yeah. I've already been like knocked down to 0 hit points multiple times over the
Dang.
course of this campaign. Mostly because I'm like, I'm a bard, I can handle this, and then I'm on the front lines like an idiot. I'm like, what if I stabbed him with my sword? And then I get blasted.
Like, my hit points is so
No. Oh, look at all of these none hit points I have. Wow.
This is great.
So,
Nice.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean,
That's basically it.
that's basically it. So, definitely support your local game stores and head in there. And if they offer blind box minis, definitely be sure to pick some up because, again, it's a relatively inexpensive way to suddenly have just like a bunch of minis.
It's true.
Yeah. So,
It's very good.
yep. So I guess that's it for us today.
Yep, that's all. We just did unboxings because Rick is
Is
in
in-
Dragon Con.
At Dragon Con, yeah. So we've got a few conventions coming up within
Yes.
the next month. September is a very busy time for those of us here at Game Trade and for me at Gemstone. Don't forget to pick up your copy of the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games. That is the book that Rick and I wrote. That is available now. Makes a good holiday gift. It's never too early to start thinking about the holidays.
And you talk about D&D.
Yeah, we talk about D&D, we talk about Pathfinder, we talk about minis and mini collecting and the trials and tribulations within. But yeah, I mean, always support your local game stores. And as far as what's next for GTM within the coming few weeks?
Yep, so we are going to be, quite a few of us are going to be away out of the office at Alliance Open House. So we'll have Painting Happy Little Minis, but probably not board game building character next week. So you'll have to tune in till the second week in September.
Right.
Or third.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
If you are tuning in from Dragon Con, thank you very much for, taking the time to watch today. And if you run into Rick,
I'm sorry, Sarah. Rick is at booth. He's at Rick in the chat.
Yeah.
Say what booth you're at because I forget.
yeah, so Rick is around. And then if anyone's going to Colossal Con East next weekend, I will be at Colossal Con East. And I think most of us will be at Baltimore Comic Con.
Yes, we will
at
all
the
be
end of
there.
the month. So
Yes.
definitely, if you're going to any of those shows, let us know in the chat. And once we figure out where we'll be at these shows,
We'll tell you.
We'll
and
let you
come
know.
and join us.
So thanks very much for joining us on Building Character today. My name's Carrie,
And I'm Leona.
and we'll see you at the game store.
Hey guys, we're super excited to share that our new book, The Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games, is now available.
We love tabletop gaming as much as you do, and we're so thrilled to share the finished book with the community. This book covers the history of the tabletop industry, from classic board games like Monopoly to collectible card games like Magic, and of course, RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons.
The book also highlights some of the top talent in the industry, featuring interviews with Peter Atkinson, Matthew Mercer, Larry Elmore, and many more. Plus, we chatted with collectors from all walks of life who shared their own knowledge and insight about tabletop collecting.
We also discuss everything from the impact of crowdfunding on the current state of the industry, as well as take a look at all sorts of ways to preserve your collection for years to come. This book provides a perfect snapshot of the tabletop industry at large and shows what makes this hobby so great.
You can head into your local game store or comic shop right now and pick up your copy of the Overstreet Guide to Collecting Tabletop Games. If they don't have it in stock, you can order your copy through previews, through Game Trade Magazine, or through gemstonepub.com.
Thanks for watching Building Character. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.